The Olympics, the ultimate test of human strength, speed, and skill. Athletes train for years, pushing their bodies to the limit in sports like swimming, gymnastics, and track and field. But what if I told you that, at one point, competitors weren't just running, swimming, and throwing javelins, but also competing in events like pistol dueling, live pigeon shooting, and even painting? The year was 1900, the Olympics were still in their infancy, and Paris was hosting only the second ever modern games. But what was supposed to be a showcase of human athleticism ended up turning into something that looked more like an open-season hunting trip. One of the events at the Paris Games was live pigeon shooting. And yes, it was exactly what it sounds like. Competitors took turns firing at real pigeons released into the sky, aiming to bring down as many as possible. The winner, Leon de London from Belgium, managed to kill 21 birds, earning himself a gold medal, and a whole lot of side-eye from modern audiences. The event was a complete bloodbath. Feathers filled the air, and bystanders described the scene as horrific. It was so controversial that it was never held again, making it the only Olympic event where animals were intentionally harmed. Thankfully, when shooting was reintroduced in later years, it involved clay targets instead of actual wildlife. Picture this. You're at the Olympics, waiting for the next big event. The crowd hushes as two competitors step forward, pistols in hand. Are they about to settle an old grudge, Wild West style? Not exactly. Welcome to the incredibly strange world of Olympic pistol dueling. In the 1906 Intercalated Games, a now defunct version of the Olympics held between official games, pistol dueling was included as an event. But before you get too excited, these athletes weren't actually shooting at each other. Instead, they fired at lifelike mannequins dressed in fancy frock coats, aiming for the chest area. The goal? Precision. The shooter with the most accurate shots won. Still, you have to wonder, who thought this was a great idea for an Olympic event? While it never became an official Olympic sport, it does make you wonder what could have been. Imagine if dueling had evolved into something like paintball or laser tag today. Tug of war. It's a game you've probably played at summer camp or a backyard barbecue. But did you know it was once an Olympic sport? From 1900 to 1920, real Olympic medals were awarded to teams who could pull their opponents over a line in a test of brute strength. The event was surprisingly intense. Each team had 8 members, and the strategy was simple: dig in, pull hard, and don't let go. But things got a little controversial in 1908 when the British team, made up entirely of police officers, showed up wearing special boots with steel-reinforced soles for extra grip. Their competitors protested, but the British squad wasn't disqualified. Instead, they dominated the event, dragging their opponents across the line without breaking a sweat. Maybe that's why the sport was quietly dropped from the Olympics after 1920, though it remains popular in other competitions today. Sports aren't just about strength, they're also about expression. And for several decades, the Olympics actually awarded medals for art. That's right, between 1912 and 1948, artists could compete in painting, sculpture, architecture, literature, and music. But there was a catch. Every submission had to be sports-themed. Imagine composing a symphony about weightlifting or designing an Olympic stadium that you hope gets built. Imagine signing up for an Olympic swimming race, only to find out that you also have to climb over boats, dive under floating obstacles, and fight against strong currents. That's exactly what happened at the 1900 Olympics in Paris. This 200-meter obstacle course was like an early version of modern-day extreme sports, forcing swimmers to navigate a watery maze while still racing to the finish. Australian swimmer Frederick Lane dominated the event, winning gold, but the event was never held again. Maybe it was just too intense, or maybe they realized it was more of a Navy training exercise than an Olympic sport. We all know synchronized swimming. It's a beautiful, artistic sport performed in groups. But in 1984, the Olympics introduced something that left everyone scratching their heads: solo synchronized swimming. Wait, how can something be synchronized when there's only one person? The answer: competitors were expected to synchronize their moves with the music. While the routines were undeniably graceful, the idea of synchronizing with an imaginary partner was just too weird for audiences, and the event was finally scrapped after 1992. So what do you think? Should any of these lost Olympic events make a comeback, or are they better left in the past? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into Olympic history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you next time.